Welcome, y'all. Appreciate you coming. Longview Metropolitan Planning Organization Policy Board meeting agenda. It's 10 o'clock, Wednesday, July the 26th, 2017. City Hall Council Chamber, 300 West Conton Street. Calling the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome y'all. Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule and coming to Longview. Karen, let's see, the first item is approval of the April 26, 2017 meeting minutes. Karen Owens, Longview MPO.
Yes, board members, the minutes were provided in your agenda packet prior to today's meeting. Are there any changes or revisions to the minutes?
Okay. What's the pleasure of the committee on this item?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Next item is approval of FY 2018 and FY 2019 United Planning and Work Program. Karen Owens.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Every 2 years, we create a new work plan for the MPO. The official title of this document is the Unified Planning Work Program, and it outlines the transportation planning activities and studies that the MPO will focus on in the upcoming 2 years. For some reason, I don't think this is working again. Do we have an error message on the screen again? Thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Hopefully that will be the end of it. The MPO Technical Committee reviewed the work plan extensively and provided input in May and July. Today I'm bringing a final version for your consideration and approval in order to meet our August 1st deadline. Most of the tasks in the work plan are what I consider ongoing activities. They are things that occurred throughout the year, and then we have others that are one-time tasks. The bicycle and pedestrian plan started in 2017 and will continue into the next fiscal year and wrap up in 2018. Another highlight of this work plan is that every 5 years we revise our long-range vision, our long-range transportation plan. So the Metropolitan Transportation Plan is due for a major update in 2019. Another item to this work plan that we've added is revisiting the thoroughfare plan and update it if it's needed. The structure of the work plan is broken out into 5 major tasks, and the 5 parts of the work plan are administration and management, data development and maintenance, short-range planning, metropolitan transportation plan, and special studies. Task 1 involves program support and administration. Much of what we do as MPO staff is to ensure that we're in compliance with state and federal regulations. The other part of that are basically the day-to-day operations of running the MPO, the work of public participation and public outreach, and also MPO staff training. The funding for Task 1 is $60,000 each year for a total of $120,000. Task 2 of the work plan involves maintenance of all types of transportation-related data. It also includes GIS software, upgrades, maintenance that we've used for mapping and analysis. Also, the MPO will work on performance measures. We'll work with TxDOT and the Federal Highway Administration on how to implement those performance measures. The planning funds for Task 2 are $35,000 per year. Task 3, that's short-range planning, and it has 6 subtasks. Very briefly, it includes the Transportation Improvement Program, short-range planning and project development, public transportation planning, which is assistance with Longview Transit and East Tex Connects, interagency coordination with regional as well as statewide initiatives, air quality planning is related to highway projects, and the multimodal center and comprehensive plan coordination activities. In 2018, the MPO funding is $68,000, and in 2019, it is $60,000. The work plan also identifies federal funding for any planning initiatives that Longview Transit may undertake. We're projecting transit planning funds of roughly $160,000 for 2 years, along with a 20% local match if needed of $32,000. Collectively, between the MPO's funding and Longview Transit, Task 3 totals $320,000. Task 4 includes revision of the existing Metropolitan Transportation Plan, if it's needed. It also includes the development of a new plan and the adoption of a 2045 MTP, a thoroughfare plan update, as I mentioned a moment ago, if it's needed, and then any wrap-up activities of the travel demand model for use with the MTP. This task is heavier weighted in the funding of year 2 of this work plan, as we begin to work on the MTP in 2018, but the majority of the work will be done in the second year of the work plan to meet the November 19 deadline. In 2018, we have 64,000, and in 19, there's 80,000. Task 5 includes special studies, and in this task, we have the continuation of the bicycle and pedestrian plan that began this year and will be finished in 2018. It also includes safety, mobility, and congestion monitoring as we plan projects. We'll monitor and evaluate accident data to identify safety concerns and also monitor traffic data to reduce congestion. Funding for Task 5 in 2018 is $90,000 for the bike and ped plan, and in 20,000 there's about $6,000 for a total of $96,000. So to summarize, the total MPO federal funding is $317,000 in FY18 and $241,000 in 19. This slide also shows, as we're required to, shows all the FTA funding. The total for FY18 and 19 is roughly $750,000. Okay, as far as a breakdown goes, by percentage, the majority of the federal planning funds for just the MPO, not including the transit funds, they fall into the Metropolitan Transportation Plan has about 25% of the overall funds. This pie chart can kind of give you a better idea of exactly how things are split out. The short-range planning task that I mentioned is about 23%, and the administration and public participation task and with special studies is at 17. Data development is at 13, and you can essentially see that the majority of our focus is on the short term while we're still planning for the long range. Also in this work plan document, there are several appendices, and I won't go into them in great detail, but I'll summarize them by saying there's an ethics policy compliance form that will be signed. The policy chairman will execute this on behalf of the board. There's a variety of certifications as far as lobbying and certificates of compliance that are federally required. And essentially, these certifications acknowledge that the MPO is complying with all federal regulations. The MPO Technical Committee reviewed the draft work plan in May and again this month and recommended that this document be forwarded to the board for approval. That summarizes my presentation for the MPO's 2-year work plan. Are there any questions from the board members or from public?
Okay, thank you, Karen. What's the pleasure of the council, board on this item?
I'd move to accept the plan.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The next item is update of the travel model forecast project. Rob Ray with Walter P. Moore and Associates. Rob, you want to come forward? Or what? Appreciate you coming.
All right, good morning. I have the pleasure of presenting to you a status update on the travel demand model project that we're working on. This is a very exciting topic, so I'm keeping it very brief for y'all. Travel demand modeling is the prediction of traffic volumes based on the transportation network. It also includes factors such as demographics, land use, population, and household locations. The biggest thing about travel demand modeling that we're trying to accomplish is how many trips are being created, where are those trips coming from and where are they going in the region, how are they doing it, which mode are they using, and what route are they going on. The biggest input one of the biggest inputs into the travel demand model is the demographics. It's things like where are the households and where's the employment and how much employment is there. And that's what our task was, is to update the Longview MPO's demographic inputs to go to the TxDOT model. In the between now and 2050, the state demographer projects roughly 60,000 increase in the region in population and roughly 34,000 jobs being created here in the region as well. That consists of all of Gregg County and portions of Harrison, Rusk, and Upshur County. Not just the city of Longview, but the whole MPO region and beyond. So as part of this project, we coordinated with the technical committee a number of times, and we had a stakeholder workshop to discuss the inputs, to discuss the growth trends in the region, and the direction that we should go as we allocate this future growth. The first step that we did was to determine where are the developed and undeveloped areas of the region. We need to try and figure out what the carrying capacity is of the area. So the areas in brown are areas that are currently developed that probably won't be redeveloped in any time soon. And the areas that are gray are areas that could be developed in the future if desired. The green areas are floodplains, constraint areas, areas that typical household or employment development doesn't usually occur. We use the future land use plans from the cities in the region to base some assumptions such as density and number of households based on that information. And then we use GIS data to determine desirability across the region. So what areas are more desirable than others to locate a business, different types of businesses, or even households. And these are the main factors that go into how do we allocate, how do we distribute future growth. As a result, the population change that we're proposing or recommending to the MPO is between 2013 and 2050. You see that the population change by TAZ, traffic analysis zone in the area, a lot of the growth, population growth, would occur either north of US 80 and then some pockets of growth in Kilgore, Lakeport, Hallsville, and Gladewater. So these are some of the patterns that we saw as we related it to GIS data and current development trends for population. For employment, it was a little bit more spread out, and there's three different employment types that we look at: industrial or basic, service type jobs, and retail. And all of those really got spread out pretty evenly within the region, there was not one concentration, but it was spread out along major arterials and around current employment districts. The importance of this is that these inputs end up going back into the travel demand model to anticipate what traffic volumes will be in the region based on this different growth, this new growth. And just finally wrapping up, our next steps are to update the roadway network for the forecast years from 2018 all the way to 2050, and then to submit this demographic set, these new inputs to TxDOT for inclusion in your next model update. And with that, I will be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Okay. No questions. Look like Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. The next item is project status reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to give a quick update about the bicycle and pedestrian plan and let you know where we are today. As you know, the MPO hired a consulting firm, Tool Design Group, for the bicycle and pedestrian plan. Currently, the consultant and staff are preparing for engaging the public in a multitude of ways. So in September, we'll have a public meeting in the form of an open house, kind of a come and go format, to allow citizens to tell us where their concerns are, provide comments, kind of tell us basically where are the greatest needs for sidewalks and bicycling, where are the barriers to some of the walking and the cycling that takes place. What we want to do is check the levels of interest that we have from the community and what the support is by launching an online survey in both English and in Spanish. The survey will be open for several months and will go out to the community as well, even out to the Boardman Trail, and ask the walkers and bicyclists that are actually using the trail what their thoughts are. We also plan to have some small group listening sessions with the Spanish-speaking community, with nonprofit organizations, the business community, employers, hospitals, Chamber of Commerce groups, those types of things, as well as LaTerna University students, have small listening sessions with young professionals as well. We'll also plan to go out to the community directly and talk to the bicycle club, the running clubs, Rotary, Kiwanis, Ambucks, et cetera, those different types of civic groups, and also use social media as another tool for public outreach. Our team of consultants have developed what's called a project website for us, and they're going to be using what's called a Wiki Map. And that's essentially, it allows people to go online at their convenience to place points and lines on a map to indicate barriers, where they're traveling to, where they want to walk to, ride to, what their desires are, and ultimately what their destinations are. As you can tell from what I've described, public involvement is going to be a big part of the bicycle and the pedestrian plan, and it's going to be taking place over several months. It's not something we're going to do over the matter of weeks, but we want to allow folks plenty of time to get the word out and allow staff to get out to the community as well. The consultant will then take this information and use it to develop a bicycle and pedestrian network for both transportation as well as recreational uses. Very soon we'll be announcing the dates of the open house and when we're going to launch the online survey as well as the website. So that concludes my update on the bicycle pedestrian plan. Are there any comments or concerns from board members on that?
Okay.
All right, the next update that we have are in the realm of highway projects, and I've asked Vernon Webb with the Texas Department of Transportation to give us an update and a list. It's a very extensive list. That's why I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about some of the projects that are currently under construction, as well as our future planned projects.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Webb?
Karen. The first project there on Loop 281 from Schaffner Road to 80 is currently on schedule. Longview Bridge and Road is moved traffic to the newly constructed inside lanes while they're constructing storm drain and building the outside lanes. Once that's complete, they'll do seal coat and resurfacing over the entire project, and they're expected to have that finished by next spring. US 80 and Gladewater from Loop 485 to Locker Plant is also on schedule. That's also Longview Bridge. They're currently working on Phase 1, which is installing storm drain and widening to the south side of the roadway, and that project is still expected to be completed also next spring. Loop 281 at Hollybrook, that was also awarded to Longview Bridge and Road. We should be holding the pre-construction meeting on that project here in the very near future and starting construction in August. That project is estimated to be complete this winter. We've also recently awarded the flashing yellow signal upgrade project on various locations throughout the city, multiple corridors. That was awarded to American Lighting and Signalization, and we'll be holding a pre-construction meeting here in the next few weeks, and should start that project late August, early September is the schedule right now. That project should also be completed next spring. The projects that we've currently got under development, we're working on 2 PM and rehab, roadway maintenance projects on State Highway 300 and FM 1844. Those projects are going to let together under one contract in February of 2018 at a cost of about $7 million. It'll be State Highway 300 from George Ritchie to US 80, and then FM 1844 is from 300 to Spur 502. Those projects basically consist of resurfacing and repaving the roadway on 300, and then we'll be widening FM 1844 to 28 feet. One of our big schematic development projects that we've got underway is FM 2206 from Loop 281 to Fisher Road. That's actually what we call Phase 1 of the 2206 project. We are currently in the process of acquiring the right-of-way and developing construction plans for expansion of 2206 from 2 lanes to a 4-lane section with a continuous left turn lane down the center. That project's currently scheduled to let in August of 2018 at an estimated cost of $3.3 million. Phase 2 of 2206 was, we cleared that entire corridor. That will go from Fisher Road to 42. We cleared that project environmentally as all one large project. And so we're going to continue the right-of-way acquisition all the way to 42, starting at the loop and just working that way based on when these projects are scheduled to let. But if funding becomes available or is made available, we expect that project could let in the summer of 2020. And then we've got FM 2275, which is George Ritchie Road. That's an expansion project that's also split into 2 phases. The first phase is from 300 to Pine Tree Road, and then we'll go from Pine Tree Road to White Oak Road. That project, we've held 2 public meetings, and we anticipate going to a public hearing early next spring. We're just trying to get the environmental coordination complete and then look for opportunities to fund that. We believe that we could let the first phase in the summer of 21, followed by the second phase in the spring of 22, if the funding forecast will allow it. That's all I've got. Be happy to answer any questions.
Vernon, the 2275 Project East, could you give an update on that?
The construction project, tells me that the section from 300 east to, I guess, McCann is going well. I didn't get a date from him. He wasn't able to be here today on when that project's going to be completed. I know that we're looking at extending that one's being done by a consultant. The inspection's being done by a consultant. I know that we're looking at extending their contract, which will run out in August. So I believe that project should be wrapping up this spring as well.
Thanks.
I got Vernon, on the George Ritchie from Gilmer Road to Pine Tree Road, then on out to White Oak. It's going to be 4 lanes and not 5 lanes?
It'll be 4 lanes with a continuous turn lane down the center. And we
Okay.
are looking at, as you get out further west, a lot of the comments on the section closer to White Oak Road were that we didn't need 5 lanes, that it was too much, we're taking too much property. So we are looking at some options, and that's part of what the consultant's evaluating now, is maybe reducing down to a 3-lane section in that area. That decision isn't final, but we are looking at those options.
Okay.
Which, when I say 3, it'd be 1 lane in each direction with a turn lane. The thing, honestly, though, that we've seen is that the impacts, we're not acquiring a lot of, there are a lot of relocations in that section. It is property that we're acquiring, but the houses are further back and it's not as developed. So, it may be that we just go ahead and acquire the right-of-way for the future 5-lane and then look at phasing that at some point in the future, or we may go ahead and build it all right now. That's kind of what they're evaluating now.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Webb. Those are all the project status reports we have, Mayor.
I'd just like to comment, appreciate y'all on the Gladewater project there. That's going to be a great deal for safety with the turn lane there. And of course, that's in the city limits, and it's going to be some prime property there that's going to really benefit from having a turn lane right there. So thanks for all y'all done. And man, when they started. Of course, we hadn't had no rain, so they're pushing dirt and going right on through there. But I just want to say thanks from Gladewater that y'all doing that for us.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll pass that along. Thank you.
Well, we needed it, and it's just, like I say, it's safety and also good commercial property that's going to really go up in value, and you're going to see more businesses through there.
Yeah.
Got 2 big banks there already, but we go in the back way, I call it, and stay off of that, and have for years on there. Okay, citizens' comments. We have anyone here that would like to come and speak? If you would, come forward and the podium and state your name.
Good morning to the MPO Policy Board. My name is Sheila A. Maxey, and I wanted to make a comment about, I guess this would be a thoroughfare issue at some of the bus stop locations. Recently, the Longview Transit, they changed the bus stop that was on High Street by ABC Auto Parts Store. Okay, that area is under construction and it is congested. But between Cotton Street and South, okay, that area is always congested. And the bus stop that's located at Kilgore College, coming in to downtown is on the side of Kilgore College, and then going out is right past the five-star detail. And then now that they changed the location at from the ABC bus stop, well, one has to get off downtown, like at Tyler Street. The part over by Kilgore College is really congested. It's hard to cross the street there because cars that are going north, there's also a turning lane there. And so if a person gets off the bus on the Kilgore College side where they're coming in from South Longview, then it's very difficult to cross at that location to get to the other side of the street, so that you have to walk back to the light at South Street. And then right now, on the right-hand side where Kilgore is, they have all of that blocked off. But because of that, I'm not really sure why they put the bus stop there in the first place, because having to cross either way, having to cross there where that turning lane is not safe. You can get caught up like in you could get hit actually. And then when you go to the light, you still have to stand there a long time before you have the right to walk, to cross the street, cross South Street to the other side so that you can go to the library. I had suggested that perhaps, and I talked to Kilgore College about it, moving the bus stop on both sides closer to Luckett Street, and then putting a pedestrian crosswalk there. And also there's a problem up on 80 East where the Wellness Point Center is. There's a bus stop there, but on the other side, mostly people get off at just the dollar store or right past the pawn shop, right at that bridge across from Super One Shopping Center. It's very hard to cross there, and you have to wait so long because the lights stay longer for the cars that are traveling east and west, okay? And then like here at the at the South and South Street, the light holds longer for the cars who are going north or south. So it's hard for a pedestrian to cross there. So I think that probably the board should look at some of the locations where the bus stops are, to consider whether they are in safe locations for the passengers. Because they have that problem out on the loop also, where some of the bus stops, especially the one by the Burger King across from the Chase Bank, that bus stop is not a safe location because there's a slope there that goes into the Burger King drive-through driveway. The other thing I want to talk about, I had a problem on Eastman where I catch the bus, and back when the transit began, they had designated a certain bus stop where the stormwater drain is located, and they never put a bus stop there until I talked to the city manager, talked to about it, and I think and Mayor Mack said that he would check into it. Well, it took several weeks, almost a month, before they put it up. I think they put it up about August 11th, 2016, and they didn't put it at the location that had been designated. Why, I don't know. That was a better location. It was a safe location. And what they did was moved it over to Bailey Insurance parking lot and just stuck the bus stop there forgot the poll number, it might be 96. They just stuck it there and where the cars park. So at any given time, when that building becomes fully occupied again and then customers park there, there's nowhere for the passenger, for myself to really stand, because the parking lot is going like this, is facing east. It's facing east, so if all the cars are parked there, and then I have to stand there, like in front of one of the cars, like on the curb there, that's not a safe bus stop location. And so I really don't know what they plan to do about it. Mr. Bailey and Mr. Taylor both told me that no one consulted with them before they put that bus stop there. And I first noticed it was, I think it was August 11th, I believe, 2016. I believe that was the date. I had to go back and check my records. But I just wanted to say that. And then the reason I have to, and then before they build the Beck-Sneed subdivision, Beck-Sneed-Armstrong subdivision, there was an open, abandoned street there all during the time that they built those two houses. And then once those houses were purchased, someone closed off that thoroughfare there, which made the bus accessible to all the people in the neighborhood. Right now, I have to go through a private residence yard who gave me permission to do that because they closed off the entryway where I used to access the bus to the location that had originally been marked for a bus stop. So I wanted to bring up those issues. Other issues, technical issues with the equipment on the bus, the cards not printing properly and not coming out of the printer, giving the wrong date, and giving or just not printing. Okay, people pay $3 a day for a day pass or $40 a month for a monthly pass. And so to pay $40 and then when you stick your card in, it doesn't print, that's not good customer service. I have gone at times, and they have lately, the new supervisor, she will replace those because it creates a problem with the drivers having to say, well, this card doesn't work, or show, sometimes it doesn't even print out. If something prints out on it enough where you can see what the date is, then it's okay. But to pay $40 for a product like that, it appears to be the paper. As far as I know, they've ordered new machines, but it has been going on for such a long time. And then sometimes in the past, sometimes it printed out like if you got on a bus at a certain time, then it would expire within 2 hours. We know that's not right, and that appears to be a program issue. And I think the real problem with the bus cards is that it has a shiny gloss on it, and I think that paper that they use is a problem, because in Dallas they use pure paper, and when you get a bus pass, it prints out clearly and it doesn't fade. But I think with that lamination on the cards that they use here, I think that's what causes the ink fades over a period of time, and even before a month is over, your card fades out. So those are some of the technical issues and safety issues I wanted to bring up. I brought these up to Longview Transit many times, and these problems still exist. And then the other thing, the service is good. I mean, the service is good. I'm not knocking the service, and I'm glad to have the service available. But some of those issues need to be addressed. You know, putting the bus stops in a safe location, which not just accessible to myself, but also accessible to those with disabilities. who are in wheelchairs or, you know, whatever. Like I was saying, the one out on the loop, that's not a safe location for a person with a wheelchair to board the bus because they could easily fall down that slope into that drive-through area at the Burger King out there. And I talked to a TxDOT person last year about that. They were supposed to check into it, but I've never heard anything back from that person. So that's all I have to say about this. And then I just wanted to know that during the process and planning, before you finalize your proposals and everything, the public is supposed to participate in that process, offering, telling you what's happening, you know, when they ride the bus. So Ms. Owens was saying that they were going to do more public outreach in the future to different organizations, but also the public is supposed to be able to participate in the planning process. So that's why I'm bringing these issues out to you. And thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming for us to consider those items. Anyone else like to come and speak on citizens' comments? Okay. Any staff comments? Next item.
Mayor, I have no staff comments.
Okay. Good to see the scouts back there. Appreciate y'all coming. Okay. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Appreciate you.